This is the Voice of the Land podcast.
Now, going around the table with this, kind of mention it as we kind of started this segment, finishing up the podcast with this, is there a Cleveland athlete that you would give a Patrick Mahomes style contract to right now? Paulus, I will start with you because I see those wheels turning.
Of course. The obvious answer is Frankie. Obviously we want Frankie to stay here. Mm-hmm. I mean, if we're going to rename the Indians, call them the Lindors. Like you keep him here, obviously. Going aside from Frankie, though, because once again, I think that he is the obvious choice. If you're looking at the rest of the teams in here, would you give it to Miles? I mean, Miles is probably the one that sticks out in my mind because Miles is still young. I mean, I think he's 23 or 24 years old. So at that point in time, at the end of his contract, he'll be 34, which is still okay. Like Julius Peppers was doing it until like 37. Like that wouldn't be a bad idea to do that because I think that Miles is that generational talent that, I mean, literally, I mean, he's on pace for, over the next, couple of years. I mean, he gets 10 sacks a year every year. So far he's at 30 and a half sacks, through his first 3 years. And that's with missing like 8 games, 8 games his rookie year. And then, having missed the last 6 games this past year, and he still had 10 through 10. So, I mean, he could literally hit 100 sacks, which is like that Hall of Fame mark. He could get anywhere from 100 to 120. I'd look at him. If Baker had a better year last year and I was more confident, Baker's the one that you'd be like, that's the dude. Because you want to lock up that, that Hall of Fame quarterback that you hope he turns into. Patrick Mahomes, if he died tomorrow, Patrick Mahomes would be in the Hall of Fame 5 years from now. And that's only playing in 2 years.
Yep.
Because realistically, because he didn't play his rookie year.
Yeah, he played one game, I think.
One game, and he started and ended up, So if he were to pass away, whatever, he'd be in the Hall of Fame right now. That's the type of quarterback that you give that 10-year, $500 million quarterback, money to. I don't think that Baker's anywhere near that right now. I would give Baker a 4-year extension.
Yes.
That at most, with some clauses to get out of that if I was, the Browns. But that being said, like if he had a better year last year and then has a great year this year, maybe. But I mean, I'm not giving that sort of money to Baker yet. Miles, though, different story. And then for like pitchers for the Indians, like I would love to see Shane Bieber because Clev's like I think 28 or 29. Like that's too old for that. Bieber though is like I think he's 24. That wouldn't be a bad one. But we've only seen one great year from him so far. All-Star MVP last year. But I'd go Miles probably. How about you, Peter?
I'd have to agree with you. I would love to see Frankie stay here.
Sure. The Lindors.
I don't know about that. Not in love with that name. The Franciscos.
There we go.
That's fun. Francisco.
That's fun to say. Exactly.
Chicago White Sox versus the Franciscos.
But yeah, I mean, it's a lot of money. Frankie, I think deserves a big contract. That much money? Not sure.
Sure.
Like you said, with the Browns, Baker, if he wins back-to-back Super Bowls, maybe. I mean, it's
right.
There. We've been, stung too many times that
true.
I have a hard time swallowing that. But Miles, I didn't even think about Miles, and that's actually a really interesting, one, and I think that I could see because the dynamic that he brings to that defense is just so huge. And I mean,
he's a Hall of Famer type of player.
He is, and he is a game changer.
Yes,
him being in that in the defense is a game changer. So I could see that. Still, it's a lot of money. I think I'd give maybe 10-year, $450 million contract to put $50 million in my pocket, and I'd be good with that. But I think I'd have to agree with you though, pretty much on that one. So
it's Frankie Lindor for me.
Yeah,
it's all day Frankie Lindor
no
for
doubt.
me because just watching that guy play the game of baseball and how much fun he has playing the game of baseball. And I know he didn't really speak to reporters when he was supposed to the first day of summer camp because he knows what questions are coming in free agency and does he think he's going to be traded? Those type of questions are going to come. They're going to keep happening. But you see last night, he hits a home run off Mike Clevenger. And Clevenger had like K'd him, I guess, or gotten a couple Ks on him earlier on in summer camp, that not a part of a inter squad game like
Sure.
they've been doing. So Frankie hits that home run, comes around and somersaults across home plate, and is just smiling the whole time. And
You hit a home run off a Clev, you start smiling a little bit. So.
yeah, but also just having the time of his life playing the game and being one of the absolute best players in the game of baseball,
Yeah.
especially in this era. And he is right there for you, a cornerstone. And I know that a big contract like that, even if we had an owner that was willing to spend a little bit more than the typical mid-market owner,
Right.
that would still be a little rough for a mid-market team to consistently have talent around Frankie to play with. I understand that,
Yeah.
but if you're asking me right now, one Cleveland athlete that I would give a Patrick Mahomes style contract to, there is no doubt in my mind, it is Mr. Smile,
Yep.
Francisco Lindor, one of the best players the Indians have had in their franchise, and one of the top 5, top 3 players in all of Major League Baseball today. That there's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah. No, I 100% agree with you on that. I think, yeah, I mean, Frankie is the guy. You know, if Frankie's the guy, there's no doubt about that. But, you know, outside of that, and with baseball, with the Indians, it's so tough to look at that and say, oh, yeah, I'd give him $500 million
Right.
because they're worth $1 billion. So he's worth half your franchise.
Right.
I mean, if you're looking at it from that sort of standpoint, Kansas City can do this because, you know, they're an NFL team. They're billions already, but they just won a Super Bowl.
Yep.
And he just got, you know, the MVP, you know, 2 years ago. I mean, he is that type of guy that there's nobody else in the NFL that I would even think about giving that contract to. You know, like they were talking about, you know, this is only going to make, you know, Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, you know, like they're smiling now. But they're not going to touch that contract. Yeah, I mean, Lamar Jackson literally just was the unanimous MVP last year. And a great season. I'm not going to, you know, I mean, 14-2 record. I mean, he played out of his mind. You know, great running the ball, and he actually did a pretty good job throwing it last year too. We give him craps, you know, call him a running back, but he did a great job last year. MVP, well deserved. But he's not even worth half that money.
No.
You know, like they're talking about locking Lamar up. I saw Ocho Cinco was talking on Twitter that he's going to get probably a 6-year, $200 million deal. That's his thought, which, hey, sign me up for that if I'm Lamar Jackson. But the fact that you didn't make half of what Mahomes is going to get just shows you how great Patrick Mahomes truly is and how well-deserved that contract is. A lot of us, you know, we're talking about it. We were talking about it before. He's worth like 19% of their cap, which is a huge number. 19% of the cap. Brett Favre signed a contract back in 2001. It was 1 or 3. And he signed for 19% of the cap. It was $60 million. The fact that it's jumped up that much blows my mind.
And he's only worth 19% of the cap, and
Yeah.
still gives him some flexibility.
They're still going to hold on to Tyreek, Travis Kelce, and probably Sammy Watkins for at least this year.
Yeah, and free agents know who the quarterback's going to be, so if there's any that aren't just looking for that big contract to go where someone's going to be able to give them the money, they're looking to go win and compete. The quarterback is there for you, and you know he's going to be there. Unlike what we had here with LeBron. LeBron would have been the athlete just like that
Absolutely.
to give that contract to, but he was never willing to commit or give the information out to other free agents that he was willing to commit. And he's kind of done more of what is considered smart in the NBA.
Sure.
Signing those short-term deals to try to make more money as they saw more TV revenue coming in and the max contracts being higher when they had a chance to sign those.
If you could sign LeBron or Frankie to a 10-year deal, who would it be? Not like LeBron at age 24.
So in their prime?
In their prime, age 24 LeBron, age 24 Frankie.
Man, I'm going LeBron.
You have to. You have to.
I know that
The
I'm a
second-
little biased with my affinity towards LeBron,
Right.
but I mean, it's just if you're going prime to prime or like that cusp of the prime, 24, age 24, both of them, I'm going LeBron. But it's like It's not a wide
It's
of a
like
gap.
pulling teeth. I
Yeah.
get it.
Like
It's
you saw,
pulling teeth.
you
yeah.
saw the wheels in my head spinning right there.
And we
because
love Frankie.
Yes.
But like if you could only give it to one at the age 24, I mean LeBron, I mean he's still putting out at 37. You know, so I mean,
Yeah.
or what, 35 right now.
Right.
I mean he's still doing a great job, but
he's still playing at a max contract player
Absolute-
level
absolutely.
at 35 after all those miles
Yeah.
that he's been put on his body. So
most
just
in the NBA history. Yeah.
and so I guess that saying that I would give it to him, just seeing what his career has become to this point.
Yeah.
What a way to end a podcast.
was a great- that was a good one.
On a tough question, man. Of course you're going to bring that question in here.